Hello guys, meet us again in Lecturer Gaming Science. This time we will continue the discussion of the history of science part 2, please read our explanations attentionally. Let's go. History of Science Part 2, Approaches to History of Science and Prehistoric Times. Approaches to History of Science. The nature of the history of science, and by implication, the definition of science itself, is a topic of debate. The history of science is often seen as a linear story of progress, but historians have shown that the story is more complex. Science is a human activity, and scientific contributions were made by people from a wide range of different backgrounds and cultures. Science is increasingly seen as part of a global history of exchange, conflict, and collaboration. The relationship between science and religion has been characterized in terms of conflict, harmony, complexity, and mutual independence, among others. Events in Europe such as the Galileo affair of the early 17th century, associated with the scientific revolution and the Age of Enlightenment, led scholars such as John William Draper to postulate a conflict thesis, suggesting that religion and science have been in conflict methodologically, factually, and politically throughout history. Some contemporary philosophers and scientists, such as Richard Dawkins, Lawrence Krauss, Peter Atkins, and Donald Prothero, subscribe to this thesis. However, the conflict thesis has lost favor among most contemporary historians of science. Historians have emphasized that trust is necessary for claims about nature to be agreed upon. In this light, the establishment of the Royal Society and its code of experiment has become an important chapter in the historiography of science. Many people in modern history, typically women and persons of color, were excluded from elite scientific communities and characterized by science as inferior. Historians in the 1980s and 1990s described the structural barriers to participation and began to recover the contributions of overlooked individuals. Historians have also investigated the mundane practices of science such as fieldwork and specimen collection, correspondence, drawing, record keeping, and the use of laboratory and field equipment. Prehistoric times. In prehistoric times, knowledge and technique were passed from generation to generation in an oral tradition. For instance, the domestication of maize for agriculture has been dated to about 9,000 years ago in southern Mexico, before the development of writing systems. Similarly, archaeological evidence indicates the development of astronomical knowledge in pre-literate societies. The oral tradition of pre-literate societies had several features, the first of which was its fluidity. New information was constantly absorbed and adjusted to new circumstances or community needs. There were no archives or reports. This fluidity was closely related to the practical need to explain and justify a present state of affairs. Another feature was the tendency to describe the universe as just sky and earth, with a potential underworld. They were also prone to identify causes with beginnings, thereby providing a historical origin with an explanation. There was also a reliance on a medicine man or wise woman for healing, knowledge of divine or demonic causes of diseases, and in more extreme cases, for rituals such as exorcism, divination, songs, and incantations. Finally, there was an inclination to unquestioningly accept explanations that might be deemed implausible in more modern times, while at the same time not being aware that such credulous behaviors could have posed problems. The development of writing enabled humans to store and communicate knowledge across generations with much greater accuracy. Its invention was a prerequisite for the development of philosophy and later science in ancient times. Moreover, the extent to which philosophy and science would flourish in ancient times depended on the efficiency of a writing system. Thank you for watching this video.